Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Anime Now Manga Later podcast. I'm your host, David, also known as Laugh Now Die Later, and I'm here with my good friend. Mind introducing yourself?
My name is Doofy, and it is an absolute pleasure to be on the first episode of the Anime Now Laugh Now Later Laugh Now Anime Now Manga Tomorrow podcast. What a privilege indeed. I thought too much about the intro, but that's fine. We're gonna keep going with it.
Yeah, bro, that's golden, honestly. But
Yeah,
no, thank you so much for joining me, man. This has been episode in the making for a long time, but we finally got around to it. And today we're gonna be talking to you guys about the big three of anime/manga, which, as you guys know, are One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach. Now, the reason I decided to pick this as our topic for the first episode, and also for the topic with Doofy, is because I recently finished reading Bleach about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and Doofy here is a big Bleach fan, and I decided why not talk about a little bit of a controversy here, because we have a very similar opinion on a conflicting topic in the community. But we're gonna talk about that later. But you know, and Doofy actually was recently reading One Piece, so I thought it was perfect to talk about the big three with you today. But to start things off, what is your first experience with the big three? Like, have you read all of them or like watched all of them yet? The three, and like, what are your opinions on them?
of course. So I guess the first time I encountered anything from the big three, it was through the Naruto anime. There was an anime block that came on here in Canada called Bionics. It came on YTV, and it would come on quite late on Saturdays, and it would air Bleach and Naruto, and I think maybe like a few other things, but that was all I really knew about at the time, or cared about for that matter. And I just remember seeing like Naruto. I thought the intro was like really cool. I'm like, oh my god, what is this? And then I watched the episode, and it was like some kind of like serious ninja show. I'm like, whoa, this is actually like unlike anything I've seen before, and it just hooked me there. And I watched Bleach at that same time because it also aired like right after it. But the thing was, Bleach didn't grip me the same way Naruto did at that time, and so I kind of just I kept going with Naruto. That prompted me to start watching the series through the anime on YouTube. Back when it used to be like uploaded in 3 parts,
Mm-hmm.
so I had watched all the original Naruto through that. And at the same time, I found out about the Shonen Jump magazines. They used to sell them at like Loblaws, like the kind of grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whoa, that's that Naruto. Mom, we need this. I need this so bad. And so yeah, I started getting them every month, and that's everything else is history. So that's kind of how I got into it. I did eventually like try to start watching Bleach back then too, but it didn't vibe with me. So it kind of got forgotten. But uh, I guess a couple of years ago now is when I got back into Bleach. I don't know why. I was just like, fuck, I love Naruto so much. I might as well get back into Bleach. I liked it. I think it has cool ideas, cool concepts. Visually, it's stunning. So
Mm-hmm.
that prompted me to get back into it. And yeah, I watched the whole anime, and then I read the whole manga.
Yeah. So I'm kind of similar in a way. However, I am one of those guys that got into like this whole community through Dragon Ball instead of one of the big three series. I guess you could consider that the big four, but that's besides the point. Because at least where I'm from, it was really a lot of Naruto, Dragon Ball, and actually Yu-Gi-Oh from where I'm from. So those are like the big three in my neighborhood. But Naruto was one of those series that I never got into, and I don't even know why because it's really good. And but as a kid, I just was around a lot of people that watched Dragon Ball, so I watched it weekly. And yeah, Naruto was another series that they would watch, and I just never got into, and I don't know why. And I regret it because when I decided to read it this year, and absolutely loved it. I had watched the anime about a year ago, but there was too many fillers, and I became a manga really only person. So that's just me. But I will say One Piece is a series I read the first three in one. So I guess that's the first. Was it? No, first 6 volumes I think I read. Not the first three in one. No, first two 3-in-1s actually. Yeah, so it was 6 volumes I read, and those volumes are pretty interesting. It was cool. I that's the only experience I've had with One Piece. It's just a series that I feel like is loved a whole lot in the community, and I'm not gonna make my judgments on it yet because I will get into it probably this winter break from school and try to finish it or catch up, I should say. But um, I will say that One Piece to me feels like one of those series that you either love it a whole lot to the point where it's kind of like a cult, or you just kind of be like, yeah, it's good, but there's some flaws to it. There's no like in between with One Piece. I feel like online, whereas Naruto and Bleach, you see a lot of criticisms for it, for both of them. And I also feel like when it comes to Bleach, the reason I could see why you like Naruto when you were younger is because I feel like, despite there is violence obviously in Naruto, but I feel like Naruto caters more to a younger audience than Bleach does. At least from my experience reading it. I don't know how the anime was.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I mean, Ichigo is, well, he's older than Naruto at the beginning of Bleach, and plus, regardless of age, he just looks older and he is more mature. And I think that would make it slightly more difficult to, I guess, relate to on like a basic level.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Naruto is just this spunky little like preteen slash teen just getting into trouble, and that's like much easier to project yourself onto. Um, so that's kind of like my main reason, I guess, why Naruto was easier for me to kind of latch onto. But also, with regards to One Piece, really quick, I think you nailed it when you described it as a cult, because those motherfuckers really do be acting like they're in a cult or something. It's a very like, I don't want to say polarizing anime, because I feel like there's a strong consensus that it just is that good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vocal minority that is critical of One Piece. I think I think it is generally like not just a good battle shonen, but like a good ass manga. Dash everyone.
Yeah.
Bleach and Naruto, like I love them, but a lot of people are in a position where they're like, these are good. There's flaws. These are good, but like they're good battle is shonen. There's better. There's worse. But like One Piece, they're like, nah, 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 nah.
See, that's where I
This,
think that's the issue of the big three, is that like One Piece is so great on its own that comparing the other two with it in the big three causes for them to get more criticisms, because they're not at One Piece's level, at least to most people's, like you said, the consensus of the audience. But like, if they were not judged on the same basis as One Piece, I feel like they wouldn't be as criticized.
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of tension between the communities,
Mm-hmm.
particularly like especially on TikTok. I don't know if it's still like that because I've kind of been off the app for a while, but between like the Naruto fans and the One Piece fans, it was a very like intense hatred towards one another, just constantly trying to find ways to bring each other down. And I feel like these conversations only happen because they are roped together as the big three. So there's like a almost implicit need to just compare them because they're the big three. So what's the best of the big three? What's the worst? And yeah, I agree. But like the overwhelming success of One Piece, its overall high esteem, like it's really in a bracket of its own
It really
outside of
is.
Naruto and Bleach, regardless of what I think.
Yeah. So typically, I feel like the ranking of this is where it's gonna get spicy. The typical ranking of the big three, I would say, from my understanding of the whole concept of it, would be One Piece number one, Naruto number two, and Bleach number three. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
But me personally, after reading both Bleach and Naruto this year, so I don't have any biases towards any series, I personally think that Bleach is at least second. But then, you know, for me personally, it'll be Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, only because I haven't gotten to One Piece. You feel me? So like, One Piece is third
Yeah.
for now. But I personally think Bleach is better than Naruto, at least for me. And yeah. So what is your ranking of like the big three, if you could rank them?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Naruto is my all-time like favorite piece of fiction, so that's number one by a landslide. Then we have Bleach, then we have One Piece, and that, yeah, so it's quite similar to yours. Just swap Bleach and Naruto.
It's
I could see though why you put Bleach above Naruto, because even when I was reading Bleach, I had moments where I thought to myself, like, this is kind of like really fucking good. Like, is
yeah.
it even better than like Naruto? I mean, at times, yeah, it is better than Naruto, and I think I'd really quickly would just like to reference something Manga Crash said before, and it was something to the
The
effect
goat.
of like, yeah, that the highs of Bleach were much higher, but it lacked the consistency of Naruto, I think is what he said in a tweet before. Sorry, I hope I'm not misquoting you, buddy. But I can kind of see that. Like,
I can see that too.
we'll get into the specifics later, but there are moments in Bleach, like Yamamoto's Bankai, the
Mm.
fight against Aizen, just shit like that, where like I'm reading a manga, like my hairs are sticking up. That's not a reaction I get often from manga.
Oh yeah.
Normally I need anime for that, but like I'm like, oh my god, this shit's so crazy. I don't know if I've had that reading Naruto, watching it all the time, but like reading it, I don't know.
I will say that I feel like if I was to reread both series again next year, I don't know if I'll have the same uh ranking. I just feel like, cuz I do agree Naruto is more consistent in my opinion when it comes to like, maybe the highs aren't as high as Bleach's, but it just stays consistent so that the flaws aren't as prevalent. I don't think, for me, there's not really, I'm not good at picking out flaws, to be honest, when it comes to like anime or manga. I'm not, because when I enjoy something, I completely ignore the flaws. That's just me. But
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
I will say for Bleach, the one thing, this is actually something I wanted to bring up to you. The one thing about Bleach that I kind of found annoying, but I feel like Naruto kind of does this too, if I'm not mistaken, is like there'll be a huge fight, and like the protagonist or one of the protagonist figures, not Ichigo, but like another like person will just destroy an enemy, and you're like, all right, that enemy's done for. And then they'll go and just like be like, oh, you thought I was done? And literally it felt like almost every fight was like that, where it was just like you thought that they killed the enemy, and the enemy just comes out and like has a different form, and I'm just like, what? But the fights were
Yeah.
so good, and the artwork in the manga is just so good that I looked past it every time and just enjoyed the ride.
Yeah, that pops up a lot just in battle shonen generally, like the whole this isn't even my final form, and then they transform. Like the two examples I thought of when you said that was Ichigo versus Aizen, but that motherfucker
Mm-hmm.
just kept transmutating or whatever the hell it's called, transfiguring. I don't remember what it is. And the fight against like Obito and Madara, where like those motherfuckers just started like upgrading and upgrading and upgrading, even after my guy won 8 gates and he just beat the shit out of Madara. But then, just yeah, this isn't even my final form.
Yeah.
That can be annoying, but I don't know. I like power ups. I like level ups. I think it's cool. I like to see how the character can like be redesigned both visually but also in terms of like power scaling. So I
I
think
don't.
it's usually a good thing, but it can be annoying. Yeah.
The thing is that I love it as well. But I feel like in Naruto, I feel like the fights were more spread out, whereas in Bleach, I felt like it would be like fight after fight. But it's also because of like the way the story went, Like if they're in Hueco Mundo, there's gonna be nothing but fights. You know what I mean? Or like, so it was just like fight after fight after fight, and every single fight, whether it was Ichigo and then it'll move on to someone else's fights, it'd just be like the same thing. Not the fights weren't the same, but it was just that same concept of like, okay, they beat them and then they just powered up, and it's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it, and like that's the only thing I would pick out of Bleach, to be honest, off the top of my head right now. But it's not really a flaw to me. It's just something that I found annoying at times. But every single time I thought it was annoying, I just looked over it and was just enjoying it so much because that artwork was just amazing. Like when Captain Yamamoto, like there was just one panel of him when he was talking to I think it was, who was it against? Was it against
Yuha, I guess. Or
the I'm bad with names, bro. I'm horrible with names. The the king of the you
yeah,
know what I'm talking
yeah,
about. But how did
Yuha.
you, is that how you pronounced it?
I have no idea. I always pronounce it wrong
Yeah, cuz
frequently.
that
JJ
name was just really
corrects
weird.
me. Yuha. I think it's Yuha.
Yeah, I was reading that completely wrong then. But yeah, against him, bro, when his Bankai and everything popped, oh my god. It was
Oh,
just
that
so
I know
hard.
that one particular panel where like he has like his just arms stretched out like with the sword and its flames. He's just announced the Bankai.
It,
That's clean as fuck.
and even the one
Yeah,
that it go went close into his face, when it was just a close up of his face, and like the artwork,
yeah,
the line work, and everything was just so clean, bro. Like Kubo
yeah.
did an amazing job with that artwork. I gotta say.
I actually think that generally I probably prefer Kubo's art. I There are some issues like he's criticized for like his lack of backgrounds at times, and you'll notice that there's a lot of panels in Bleach, like that Yamamoto panel where like he's holding out his arm, or there's a lot of these like detailed, almost portraits of characters and poses like with no background, to, like just emphasize, I guess, the emotion and the behavior of the character. So I think it's a more than just it's not laziness per se. It also does kind of have a stylistic purpose, we could say, but like there's just so many things like that where there's like no background and like people were pretty mad at that. Um,
You also got to think about it this way.
but
Look what's happening with Gege Akutami. Like you put so much work into certain details. You're also thinking about how they have to produce chapters weekly, and it's
yeah,
like, would he have? had any time to put backgrounds in with that much detail in some of these characters. I don't think so. And it also
Yeah.
wouldn't have been worth it because if he would have done it, then what if his health would have, declined and then Bleach maybe would have been on hiatus for forever. So you know what? I'll take the no backgrounds and you continue the story and it's great the way it was, then it be on hiatus forever. Sorry, Hunter x Hunter. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
it's just what
Yeah.
it is. But
Yeah.
what are
Naruto
your
though, I think has some tremendously well designed
Oh,
backgrounds. So
hell
that's
yeah,
one thing
man.
I can give Kishimoto.
One
Like
like
there's always the classic panels, like especially in the Pain arc, where like
oh,
Pain's looking over the Rain
that's
Village,
exactly what I
or
was
when
just
he
about to
enters
say.
Konoha,
Mhm.
or even some of the panels like in the first, I guess, volume 28 or so, when Naruto returns to the village, and he's like looking out of Konoha, and like it's really nice. Or when Sasuke goes to Konoha to revive the Kage, and he's looking over it, kind of mirroring that original stance. Yeah, so there's lots of nice backgrounds in uh, in Naruto, I'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I would say that the backgrounds of Naruto obviously are better than Bleach's because Bleach's barely has any at times. But I feel like when it comes to like the details of characters and like the close up for characters, I feel like Kubo knocks it out the park, to be honest.
yeah, it feels cleaner. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the earlier volumes he hasn't like totally gotten into his style. So like the way Ichigo and like Ruki are drawn earlier on, it's not exactly the same as it is like 10 volumes later, for
He
instance.
grows
But
into it for sure.
once he grows into it, it's like, yeah, by the beginning of the Thousand Year Blood War arc, that art is like fucking insane.
It is, bro. Like
Yeah,
it's insane. Man. But let's talk about the other two before because we were talking about Bleach and people are gonna be like, but I thought it was about the big three. but
true, true.
but I will say I think maybe I enjoy Bleach more than Naruto right now because I just like reading grittier toned stories. Whereas Naruto, at least in the beginning, it was more not kid friendly per se, because again there was violence and everything. But when he was younger, it was a little more kiddier than it was towards obviously the second half of the story. So I kind of just liked how Ichigo was a 17-year-old and his progress becoming a Soul Reaper. The whole Fullbring arc I thought was pretty dope as well for it being such a small arc. I loved it. And just like the whole story, I just felt like was much more grittier than Naruto's for the most part. So that's why I feel like I connected to it more. But again, if I would have got into Naruto as a kid, I probably would still say Naruto's better because of that whole bias, because of the love of the stories and everything. But what do you
Yeah,
think of One Piece? Because I did see some of your tweets. Okay, so I want to know what happened and like,
yeah.
what are your
So my
thoughts?
my experience with One Piece is like, well, it's as a Naruto fan, so like there's always that hostility towards like the successful big brother of Naruto in a way, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
there's always that little antagonism there. So I'm not gonna lie, going into it initially, I think I would have first, well, my very initial encounter of One Piece was through the 4 Kids dub. I used to have
Mm-hmm.
Fox, and it came on CW 4 Kids in the morning on Saturdays, and so I would watch it there. And like it was just like a goofy pirate show. I didn't really think too much of it back then. But come high school, one of my best friends in high school was super into One Piece, and he's like, "You got to check this out. Like, you just got to do it finally. Like, just watch One Piece." I'm like, "Okay." So I bought the first 2 DVD sets. I watched the first one, which is 30 episodes, which I think gets to like it's just before Alling Park, so it's when they get Sanji into their crew, and I didn't like it. I found it so slow. I didn't really like the characters. There wasn't anything there that really engaged me, and I just said, even though I own the second DVD set, like I just couldn't bring myself to watch it. Um, and then that was that. However, over the years, I did more YouTube stuff. I talked to more people, and they're like, man, you really got to like just go a little farther. Like read Arlong Park. That's when it gets good. It's like they're always like, you got to just go a little farther, then you'll be there. Like well, admittedly, the beginning of One Piece isn't good. I think most One Piece fans are willing to say that. Some are willing to say that they still enjoyed it from the beginning, even if they can. They're willing to say they enjoyed it from the beginning, but they can still see how people don't like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a lot of comments I hear. So I'm like, okay, this is true. People really do be hyping up One Piece, like, and hey, I want to get into like Aeneas Lobby, Marineford, shit like that looks amazing. Like I genuinely think that would be like top 10 for me easily. But there's just so much shit you got to get to before you get to that. But
Yeah.
now, One Piece right now though for me, I finally did it. I read the first 100 chapters, so that gets you past Arlong Park, which is like that's the arc people tell you to get to figure out if you're gonna like One Piece or not. And going back through the manga, I think I definitely appreciated it more than when I watched the anime. I think the manga for One Piece is the way to go. Um, Like there were just a few moments that it did a lot better, like Sanji's past, for instance. The chef that was kind of like Sanji's caretaker, you might say, who found Sanji on like that island. In the manga, he gives like Sanji everything or something along those lines. And to survive for like 10 days while they waited for somebody to find him, like he cut his own leg off and he ate it. But in the anime, like I don't know what, I think they said he got
Spoilers,
bit off or
damn.
something. Yeah, but like that was dope. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, this is kind of cool. Uh, and there were a few like little stories that I liked, like Gaimon, the guy that's stuck in a cart. It was literally like 1 or 2 chapters, and it was the stupidest thing ever, I think, for most people. But I thought there was something really meaningful. I think he went to the island to try and find like the gold, the treasure, whatever. But he got stuck in like a cart or something. But the treasure was on the top of like this little mountain, and he couldn't get up there because he was stuck in the cart. And so he just lived on this island trying to get that gold. And one day, Luffy and the gang kind of come by and they help him get it. Um, and I don't know, but this I thought this was really well done, like for such a short story, because in the end, all the chests are empty, and he's like, with tears in his eyes, he's like, I kind of always thought that those chests were going to be empty. And I don't know, there's something there. It's like even understanding or recognizing that what you are seeking is non-existent, you can still find meaning by pursuing it. And so, in a sense, even if it was an empty ideal at the end of the day, there's still meaning in kind of orienting yourself towards it. And it was just such a short and beautiful expression of that, like little simple idea that I think is like so relevant for everybody. And that was awesome. So there were little moments like that I liked. Or Mihawk versus Zorro, like that was beautiful. Mihawk, badass.
Well, in the beginning, like,
Yeah.
we're talking about the beginning one, like the first one, like when they were pulling up on Sanji's the chef one, right?
Yep.
But yeah,
So
when they
that's
first got to Sanji and Mihawk came out, and then him and Zoro fought, and it was like,
yeah,
wow,
with
yeah,
his little dagger.
yeah,
Yeah, dude, Mihawk is cold as fuck. That guy's awesome. So there are cool moments, but overall, a lot of it dragged. I don't like a lot of the main cast. I think One Piece suffers from what I've called Hunter x Hunter syndrome, where it's like all the cool characters, like the side characters that like don't get all the spotlight. Like Shanks, fucking badass. Mihawk, badass. Like, and way down the line, like Ace looks badass as hell. Like all those guys. Oh, I'd love to read about them. Likewise with Hunter x Hunter, I don't really like the main cast, but like Hisoka and like Crollo and Pariston and all those lads that I talk about a million other places. But so that's the thing. Like I just don't like the characters. I feel like the story doesn't take itself seriously enough throughout the first 100 chapters, uh, and I can't connect with it. It just doesn't grip me in the same way.
yeah. I mean, I will say, I remember before I said that like Naruto had its kiddie moments. I will say that the first 6 volumes of One Piece had that feeling to it, where it just felt, and the artwork too to me is just like, it just feels like something like kiddie. Like I don't know, it's just something like a cartoon that would be like on Disney Channel. You know what I mean? Or like Cartoon Network. Like it just feels just for a
Yeah,
younger audience than something I would be into. But I just know from so many people that the story is great. The world building is fantastic, probably one of the best ever. So it's like I'm gonna get into it. I'm not gonna spend any money on it. Like that's definitely a series I'm not gonna spend money on. I'm gonna read it on the Shonen Jump app, and I'm chilling. Read it weekly if I catch up to it. But
yeah,
that's my goal for like this winter break. For a whole month, I'm gonna do nothing but read One Piece. So
nice.
let's see how that goes. But
Yeah, real quick though, I think you're right with the cartoon kind of art. Like I remember now, even in like a Sanji's thing, he what was it now? Oh, one of the guys that worked on Sanji's ship had like the Popeye arms.
mhm.
And he was I can only assume he was inspired by that. And like that, I thought it was kind of cool. But like, yeah, it just has this overwhelmingly like cartoony-ish vibe, which is again, it's also something I'm not super into.
Yeah.
Though interestingly, you described the beginning of Naruto as like kind of kiddish, which I in an extent understand. But a lot of
Yeah.
people actually think that the first half of Naruto is grittier than the second half, um, especially when you get like to the Land of Wave stuff. Like,
You know what it is? I don't mean like the story is kiddie. I just feel like when it comes to like Naruto's character, like the way he acts, it's just too kiddie for me. At least to watch for the anime, because it just his voice and everything just annoyed me. So it was just too kiddie for me when it came to like how the characters acted. The story
yeah,
itself was crazy. Like in the beginning, when Orochimaru went to Konoha and like what he did with the Hokage there, like I was like, holy crap. But it was just, for me, it was the characters, not the story. Whereas One Piece, I felt like in the beginning it was more of the story and the character designs that just felt like a cartoon to me.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
But now we talked about obviously what we like and dislike from some of these series. Now let's talk about the impact of these series, okay? Because these three series must be some of, if not one of the most influential series, at least in this magazine. Like One Piece is still going strong after being here for what, 20 plus years already. Naruto and Bleach are both completed already, but you can see the way they still inspire other series on the magazine, which we're gonna actually get into what people say compared to them. So starting off with One Piece, of course, we know still going on. People when they talk about the new big three, people still for some reason like to include One Piece in it because it's still going on, which I absolutely hate that argument because I don't like. I understand it's still ongoing, but don't do that, bro. Like, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, Naruto it's still influential as hell when it comes to certain series like Black Clover, for example. I feel like Black Clover does have a lot of elements to me that are very similar to Naruto. Not in, obviously it's different when it comes to like it's a wizard king and all this, but certain events that happen, I would say, in Black Clover, especially one of the arcs, just reminds me of a lot of the formula that Naruto took in its war arc. That it was like, okay, so I could see the inspiration there. And then Bleach is one that a lot of people say that Jujutsu Kaisen reminds them of Bleach, and I don't know if I see that though. I mean, I kind of do, but at the same time, I don't. But yeah, what do you think about like the whole comparisons? Are there any other series that you compare to some of these series? And yeah,
Yeah. I think the Black Clover one, I think I'll just mention first because I've never actually read Black Clover. That seems to be a hot take. There are a lot of people on Twitter that are very adamant that Black Clover takes a lot from Naruto, but I think there's also this large, perhaps even bigger group of people that are like, it's not really Naruto influence as much as it's something else. But I obviously haven't read the source for Black Clover, so I can't tell. And at least I don't think the manga has explicitly cited Kishimoto as an influence. And indeed, I'm actually not sure how many manga Naruto has directly influenced. I mean, it was big and it propagated a lot of the stereotypical like tropes within battle shonen, like different character archetypes and different narrative patterns that are more or less in all of them. Its popularity definitely did a lot for just bringing those forward in time. But I don't know if anybody specifically read Naruto was like inspired. Whereas I know Jujutsu Kaisen, for instance, Geji, whatever his name is, explicitly cites Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho as like two of his big influences, and I think I see it. I feel like Yuji is very much cut from the same cloth as like Ichigo, and I kind of have the place in like the same like tradition. Like I think it starts with Yu Yu Hakusho, which influenced Bleach a lot, and both of those influenced Jujutsu Kaisen. Like I think that they're all very similar, and that's what I love them. I think again it has a lot to do with the protagonist. It's more mature. Like I think
yeah,
Itadori is generally more mature. Obviously, he has like his kind of humorous and laid back moments or whatever. But I guess that also has to do again with like his family situation. We're just shown Itadori very early on as a more mature and independent kind of figure, I guess. And so that's one influence. Also, just I don't know. I guess the whole thing about uh, demons and shit. I don't know. I guess that loosely kind of falls in that tradition. The vibe feels similar to me though. I don't know if I could cite too many explicit things that were influenced in JJK from Bleach. I'd have to look closer to the two. Though I did recently just catch up to JJK, which is pretty which I guess is relevant also. But with One Piece, I can almost say for certain it inspired another very big series to some extent, and that's Fairy Tail. Even though they were kind of airing or running roughly at the same time. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in Fairy Tail that is eerily similar to the stuff in One Piece. And I mean, One Piece fans are very vocal about that. So that's a very clear influence, I think, whether or not Mashima is willing to cite that. But that's a pretty major thing to have influenced because Fairy Tail is massive. But
yeah.
so there's like the kind of explicit things that I kind of see. Nothing really for Naruto, but Bleach for sure within JJK and One Piece for at least Fairy Tail, and I'm sure there's probably other things
Yeah.
that One Piece, given its absolute massive influence, has influenced.
I feel like I can see now that you're thinking about it. The when it comes to the protagonist of Bleach and JJK, I do see the similarity. I do think that JJK kind of has that grittiness that I like, artwork wise, to Bleach at times. Well, especially the more recent things with Maki and all of that. That was, oh my god, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Now the thing with Naruto and Black Clover is that obviously they're completely different. One's dealing with magic, one's dealing with ninjas, right? You got like, I think what it is that it's just that one arc, man. That one arc really, like, it didn't rub me the wrong way, but it was definitely like, okay, this really reminded me of Naruto way too much. It's not a clone like from the beginning to end. It was more of just that one arc. I just was like, there's no way there was no influence from Naruto. Like, he may not have said it explicitly, but bro, what I'm telling you, like, it, like, I'm not gonna, without spoiling Black Clover for you, but like, pretty much.
But I'm never gonna read it.
Oh, okay. Well, pretty much. Wait, you're never going to? All right, bet. Then I'm just gonna say it. You remember
Yeah.
in the war arc, what's her name? When what's her name came out of Madara? Like how Madara was supposed to be like the main villain, and then this woman just popped out of him out of nowhere.
Okay.
Okay, literally in Black Clover, in one of the earlier arc. Well, what is it? I forgot the name of the arc, but it literally happened, man. And I was just like, where this demon just popped out of someone else who was supposed to be the main villain, and then they came out, and then they had to fight him, and I was just like, what? It was just so similar, that whole arc right there, because I read that so long ago. But I was just like, all right, that definitely was influenced by Naruto. The whole series may not be, but just that arc was too similar to the war arc for me, where I was just like, nah. But it was
What
still
an
cool to
awful
me.
thing to be influenced by. Like that's the thing in Naruto
That's like
people are
my,
most critical of.
yeah, and also I just don't think that's like the best Naruto arc in my opinion. I think the Pain arc is my favorite. I wouldn't say maybe it's the best. To me, it is, but that's because it's my favorite. But
Yeah.
the war arc is definitely not my favorite. I
Now, I just
huh.
want to mention really quickly, and take this with a grain of salt. I've seen like full-fledged like video essays trying to justify Kaguya's appearance by looking for panels throughout the entire series that kind of um, indicate like the divinity of the Byakugan and like the
Mhm.
fact that there's probably something higher out there. Um, and I think, well, this is interesting because I think a lot of people say, "Oh, you're reaching too much to justify this shitty ass pull at the end." But I can genuinely see Kishimoto just holding on to a little nugget that he might have said about the Byakugan in the first part, like Neji versus Naruto. He
Mhm.
talks about, yeah, like the Byakugan is like divinity, something along those lines. Is like it's like a gift from like another world kind of thing,
Mhm.
which is exactly like Kaguya's whole thing. But it's not absurd to me that Kishimoto would remember this little thing and say, "What if I just made like another villain based off that? Like that'd be the kind of cool thing to do."
Yeah.
And it makes sense also because in the scope of the series, like we get I think we probably find out the Sharingan first, and that's like really powerful and scary. And then we get the Byakugan, and it's like, oh, it's pretty cool, but not nearly as good as like the Sharingan. And then we get the Rinnegan, which like blows both those over the water. Uh, but but then we get like the fucking Mangekyo Eternal Sharingan
Yeah. Yeah.
Rinnegan, like crazy shit.
All
And
the
they were
different.
like, that's even crazier. And they're like, no, it's actually Byakugan on top again. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. It's the way that we understand the ocular jutsu with relation to each other changes a lot over the scope of that series. And I don't know. I just like the way that we're always rethinking about these things by just historically contextualizing it and the such. So
Mhm.
I don't know, that might be a little. I just bring that up because even though like 100% not a fucking person in the world would have expected that to happen, it will always appear like an ass pull. It was an awful thing to do. Nobody likes it, but there's an argument out there. That's just all I wanted to bring it
And it
up.
also kind of brought, Boruto in the mix, because now you get those people that are like Kaguya in Boruto, so it kind of added on. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know if he was already thinking that, maybe not. I don't know
I
what
don't
was
think so
going on,
because
but I
yeah, he
just
wasn't too involved at the beginning stages of Boruto. I
that
don't
is
believe.
true. No, no,
So,
but yeah, that's true. But I don't
have
know,
you
man.
read Boruto by the way?
No, I actually still have yet to do it, and I don't know if I wanted to do it after I read Naruto, but I don't know how I feel right now about reading Boruto. That would just be like another series to add on to, like, I know it comes out monthly, but like that's just another to add to my list to, like,
Yeah, yeah,
so I don't know. If I've been reading a lot of like completed series at the moment, so that's kind of the moves I've been making, but
nice.
yeah. So with that being said, what would you say are the three new big three? If you could make it yourself, what would be the new big three from like
It's
this
difficult. Yeah,
magazine? It's
it's very
difficult.
difficult only because like in 2008, you said the big three. There was no other contenders.
Yeah.
Like it was Naruto, it was Bleach, it was One Piece. That it was unanimous. These were the three biggest series by a landslide. When we jump to nowadays, it seems
Like
not
there's
only
more.
the way series are being produced is different, like series aren't being produced to be long anymore. Like JJK is about to wrap up ish in the next year or two, I think. Demon Slayer was designed to only have been that small.
My Hero's about to
MHA
finish
is about
too.
exactly like these aren't designed to be 1,000 chapters anymore. 600, 700 chapters. They want to end in like 200, 300, 400, like in that range. Something more manageable, I guess. Because there's obvious errors or problems. The more you drag on a series, you are more liable to just contradict earlier things. You can't, necessarily manage all these characters, their backgrounds, so on and so forth. Um, so that's the other thing. They're just not designed in the same way. But more than that, there's just so many with overwhelming popularity. Like there doesn't seem to be like any three that clearly rise above the rest. Now, in the conversation, it's also difficult because like since the kind of reign of the big three ended, there are a bunch of like mini eras.
Yeah.
Like earlier on, like when Seven Deadly Sins and Black Clover come out, that feels like a very distinct era from like now with like Demon Slayer or JJK.
Mhm.
So like, how do I figure out what exactly to group together into a big three? I'm totally against an idea of a new big three generally,
Mhm.
but I do like grouping things together. I like organization and lists and ranking stuff. So I am sympathetic to that view. But if I had, because I'm going to answer the question, I'm not gonna pussyfoot this one. I'm just going to answer it. If I had to give like a new big three, JJK has to be in there.
Mhm.
I think it's just because I fucking love JJK, but it's just so fucking good. And I'm also trying to think of like how manga could correspond to actual manga in the big three. So JJK is like a successor to um, Bleach. I'd also put MHA in there. I feel
I
like that's a
agree.
spiritual successor to Naruto. I don't know, just in the vastness of the cast and the kind of I don't know. I watched the first season of MHA and I'm just like this. The fun I'm having watching this is like the fun I was having watching Naruto. It invokes a similar vibe to me. I don't have anything more concrete than that, so you'll have to bear with me. But
No, I totally agree with that.
yeah, so JJK, MHA, it's the third one that's troubling to me because I could see good arguments for either Black Clover or maybe Demon Slayer, and those are the two that I'm kind of toying between. And I'm kind of inclined to do Black Clover. It's a little longer. Is it longer? Is Black Clover like currently at a chapter that's later than what Demon Slayer
I'm
ended
gonna
at?
check right now. I'm gonna go on the app right now. I know Black Clover is currently like on in the 300s, like 311, and
Hmm
Demon
hmm
Slayer is
It
at
must. It was out way later or way
yeah,
earlier.
Demon Slayer ended at like 205.
200.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah.
Okay. I think I'll put Black Clover in there because it's
Okay.
still ongoing, right? Yeah. Demon Slayer's gone. So I'm kind of also looking at things that are currently ongoing. So Black Clover, MHA, and JJK. I think that'd be like a decent dish.
No, yeah, I
New
totally
three.
agree. No, I mean honestly, that was the big three I was gonna give. So and
Nice.
it's yeah, so great minds think alike.
Hell yeah.
But I would like you said, there's a lot of series, uh, that could be contenders. Like you also got series that are really popular, like Doctor Stone. Now I'm not saying they're at the same level, but I'm just gonna say like you got series like Doctor Stone. There's series on the come up that could be like an even newer big three, cause like these series are about to end. So then you got like the newer series. You got like Kaiju number 8. Uh, what else we got?
X Family.
Mashal, X Family, Sakamoto Days, if people like that. I'm not saying that will be in the big three because I don't think it's going to be as popular as these other series, but you got a lot of
Yeah.
new series that are like on the come up that can possibly like make some strides in the future. And like me and Roboco, you know, not just kidding.
Crash
No.
would be fucking vouching for that one to be in the new big three. Me and Roboco, damn it.
Yeah, but looking at these series, there's like some other series that could really be in there. So, yeah, the Shonen Jump magazine's in good hands. I feel like. I just really curious to see what's gonna happen after those series are done. Then we'll see if they're really in good hands. Like right now, I feel like they're in good hands. But like once MHA, JJK, and what other series is gonna be finished soon? I think there was another one. I think Black Clover 2 is in like, was it Black Clover or was it just those two? No, I remember
I
there
don't know.
being another series. Oh, Mashal. I
Well,
mean, Mashal's not really one of the like considered up there anyways, but Mashal's already like about to be finished too, and it's like not even 100 chapters yet.
really,
There,
I didn't know that.
yeah. So,
You might be thinking of Tokyo Revengers. That's also ending,
oh yeah, but it's not a part of that.
but that's not a jump.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not a
that's not
jump.
a
But
main
yeah, that's
title.
another series. Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
of series
it
that
is.
are finishing soon.
I just want a new like battle shonen, like a
Me
good
too.
battle shonen. The stuff in Jump right now is like comedy slice of life stuff. It's nice to have that variety. It's a variety we didn't have for a while, like in the main magazine. But like a Spy X Family, somebody told me I should probably try to check it out. It doesn't
Bro,
appeal to me. It seems like a little too like goofy. I'm not into that.
bro,
Even
you don't even
Sakamoto
see
Days.
my face cam right now, bro. But I continue and then I'll tell you. My bad. Sakamoto Days. What
Yeah,
happened?
even Sakamoto Days, like it's fun. It does have action elements for sure, but like I don't know. I binged it. It was fun,
Mm-hmm.
but then when I started reading it weekly, I'm like, this is like okay. So I stopped it with the intentions of like binging it again. But like right now, like the thought of reading Sakamoto Days again is like, yeah, it's just okay. Me and Robico, like I haven't read it, but again, it's kind of like a comedy thing. I reading Blue
Yeah,
Box, and it's
it's
honestly
okay.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
okay.
there's just a bunch of like okay stuff, or even Red Hood, was that what it was called, or the
The
Robin
Hunters
Hood one?
Guild.
Hunters Guild.
Well,
Read
that
the
one's
first
getting
two
canceled.
chapters.
Yeah, it's getting
Yeah,
canceled.
it wasn't that good.
And so is Naru
Um,
too. That like martial arts
oh,
one
it's
is getting
getting canceled too.
Yeah, those two are getting
Didn't
canceled.
know that. Yeah, I never even gave Naru a chance. I just want another good fucking battle shonen, man. Like,
Yeah.
give me another JJK. You know, give me another Naruto. Give me like something good.
We forgot. I mean, it's gonna go into Jump Plus, but we didn't even mention Chainsaw Man in the big three. Um,
Yeah.
but I
No,
don't
I
know how
don't.
you feel about that because it's already finished too. It's not even ongoing. It's not really that long. It's only 90 something chapters. But I personally would put Chainsaw Man over Black Clover because I enjoy it more. But when it comes to like, because Chainsaw Man is having a not an impact like inspiration, like how inspirational it can be as a series, but more of like just the numbers it's pulling. Like some of the manga you can't even find. People are scalping the hell out of it. I love Chainsaw Man, but I feel
And
like
people love
it's
it. Yeah,
yeah,
I feel like once the anime comes out, it's gonna. I
go
mean,
crazy.
it could easily be as big as JJK or Demon Slayer. Like, I think it could pop off. The animation looks like fucking utterly like breathtaking.
Hmm.
This is in a position to very much overwhelm. The community. I think that's true. I never really considered it because I hadn't read it. I really want to, but
You haven't read it?
maybe I
That's
put it
why I
there.
was
Oh,
like, what?
yeah, no, I haven't.
That,
I'm only now like trying to get more into like some of the new gen titles because
hmm
like I always feel so left out of the combo. That's why I'm about caught up at Boruto. I did JJK, and I guess Chainsaw Man's almost about to have its time too.
Man, please do it. Do you recommend even reading Boruto though? For real?
I have to stress this. I fucking love Naruto, okay? I've loved it since I was in grade 5. I've loved this franchise for over a decade. I will regularly, at least once a week, get drunk and watch old Naruto episodes, okay? Like this is like I have a cult about Naruto, okay?
Hmm.
I have a Naruto cosplay. I have the Akatsuki robes. It's bro, this is I have to say I'm overwhelmingly charitable through to it is like a down statement. There are, even in light of all of that, there are notable um, flaws with Boruto. Like we said earlier, I'm not prone to like analyzing and identifying flaws unless they're like an actual hindrance to my entertainment.
Hmm.
Boruto has several of those like right off the bat.
Oh man.
And let me put it to you this way: I don't think this is a massive thing. The first villain in Boruto is two people like of Kaguya species, the Otazutsu, whatever the fuck they're called. Two of them. Okay, so Kaguya, the final villain of Naruto Shippuden, the final villain of 700 chapters of Naruto or 700 episodes. I don't remember how many chapters. Times two at the beginning of this series. That's like,
What?
yeah, and you know what? When they come in and they interrupt the training exams, where it's literally these kids throwing shurikens at each other in a little stadium, and literally two of the strongest enemies we have seen in the franchise enter. And that jump it's hard. It's very difficult to stomach. It's yeah. Now once you kind of get into it, I'm warming up to the whole Otsutsuki shit. In later chapters, they develop, I think, their background, their lore, and how they work pretty interestingly. They give more background to like the Ten Tails and like the big tree of life that everybody hated. I'm kind of into that now.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be time skip eventually. That's going to be dope as fuck. There's a lot of really great scenes a little later on, and like I'm also kind of watching like some parts in the anime that correspond to the manga, like the fights, fucking as good as anything in Naruto. Like
I'm
it's
not
actually
gonna lie. I
insane.
saw the clip of the Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki. I think it was. That
Oh
fight
yeah,
was probably one of the best orchestrated fights I've probably ever seen.
Naruto, without a shadow of doubt, has the best choreography I've ever seen, like an anime, like period. I don't think anything else even touches it. And I mean, yeah, Boruto is even living up to that. I mean, Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki. I get chills like literally just thinking about it. I've rewatched that fight so much. Or even now, Naruto and Sasuke versus not Jigen, but Ishiki, I guess. Naruto versus Ishiki when he uses Baryon mode. That was a really good fight too, like animated very well. There's lots of great moments, but like there's problems. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are problems. I can I recommend it? I don't know. It's difficult. If you love Boruto, I mean, if you love Naruto, then I mean, it's a must to just like get more of their
Yeah.
characters, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it
But
then because I love Naruto. People don't get me wrong. I said Bleach is better than Naruto, but that does not mean I don't love Naruto. Like it's still like in the nines for me personally because I just had
yeah,
such an attraction to the series when I read it. So I still love it. Just because
yeah,
my it's behind Bleach on the listing of the big three doesn't mean I hate it. Like so don't get me twisted, all right? Um
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I had to say about the big three. But before we cap this off, I just wanna ask you, like, what are you currently reading or watching? Because we haven't talked in a
Yeah,
while, so I actually want to know, like, what you been up to.
yeah, for sure. Well, I very recently, like I mentioned, caught up with JJK.
Mhm.
That took up a lot of my time, and then I started catching up with Boruto, and that's kind of like my main project now. I'm like 7 chapters off. Um, it just got past like the Naruto Baryon mode part, and there's like new villains kind of coming into the scene. Not as huge onto into them as I was Ashiki,
Mhm.
um, but Ashiki's still relevant, so it's fine. JJK, like it's awesome. It's fucking amazing. Shibuya incident was like not huge on the culling game so far, but it's got to go further and develop more before I can say anything substantially. So that's like my kind of taking my time with the shonen titles here. But I've also just been like reading some manga that I own. So I went home for a few days and I finished reading MW by Osamu Tezuka.
Mhm.
Beauty of a manga, fucking amazing, amazing. I also started reading Ayako, but unfortunately that's left home now, so that's probably on pause. Another Tezuka title. Here, I recently picked up a few manga. I tweeted that on Twitter and I shared it on TikTok. Just like these kind of like self-contained like little drama stories. It was I don't remember what they're called. I tweeted about them today, but one was fine. One was actually like surprisingly good. Just what the what the heck was it called? Allow me to just to find that
Yeah,
real
you good?
quick. But I've been slacking on anime. I tried to like start watching a few anime from the season, but I couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
But oh, the manga was My Broken Mariko. Um, fucking amazing. I was so surprised. I bought this like blind. It was just like a cool hardcover,
Mhm.
short, self-contained drama, and I love those. Those are probably my favorite things to read. Just short little dramas, and that it gave me exactly what I wanted. So, but that's kind of been taking up my anime and manga space. What are you? What have you been kind of up to?
So after I finished Bleach, I actually read Tokyo Ghoul. So I
Oh,
read
I
that.
saw that actually. Yeah, how was that?
I loved it, man. It speaking about, we were talking about how Bleach was gritty and everything, but holy shit, man. Tokyo Ghoul takes that grittiness and like times it by like 3 with the artwork. I absolutely loved it. So now I'm actually decided to just go right ahead and start reading Tokyo Ghoul Re. Uh I'm not gonna lie, the beginning of it, I was kind of confused because I was just like, have you read it first of all? Oh,
No,
okay.
I've only watched the first season of the anime,
It
which is fair, a fair adaptation, but
I
only
heard it
that
was
season.
good. Yeah, I heard season
Yeah,
2 was kind of
I dude, hell, I love that first season. I'd even say it was dope. I was
yeah.
actually I saw some people talking about Tokyo Ghoul on Twitter today, and I was really inclined to go and read it
Yes,
because
I
it looks awesome.
you definitely should, man. It's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Like I got it at like a 9. Like I
Nice.
really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. But right now, like I said, I only read the first like 10 or 12 chapters, and the story. I think it hit a time skip if I'm not mistaken. So, I'm still kind of figuring things out because of the main character. Like at the end of Tokyo Ghoul, it kind of leaves you like, what the hell really happened to him, and then you kind of find out in a weird way when Tokyo Ghoul restarts, and it went from being like more of the ghoul side in Tokyo Ghoul to being more of like the cop side in Tokyo Ghoul Re. Like you really get thrown into the world of like the investigators more
I
in
I
Re.
love that though.
I love it
I
too.
love the investigators.
I do too though. But the thing
Who's
is
that?
that it gets really wordy now.
Oh, yeah.
Right now. And like there's some like ghouls, bro. Like there's one ghoul that right now they're looking at called the Nutcracker. You can only imagine what that means. And it's just like, really, bro? Like they really had to
Yeah.
go there with that this time. Like I was just like, nah, I don't. I mean, it's not bad. I was just like, really though. Like
Yeah.
it
I
was
heard
really.
that there's like a dragon something final arc. People are like pretty polarized about that. Some people think it's like dog shit. Some people think it's like the best arc in all of manga. So I'm excited to see what you think of that. I think it's like the Dragon War or something. It seems like final arcs that are wars are incredibly polarizing. Like the
Yeah,
war
man.
arc, love or hate. Thousand Year Blood War arc, love or hate.
I
The
love
Dragon
that
War,
one, by the
love
way.
or hate.
I just feel like the end was really abrupt for me.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the only
fair.
thing I have to
It
say about it.
was.
It was really
It
abrupt. The
for
whole
me.
arc was amazing. It's just the end fight and the way it just ended. I was just like, damn.
For me, there's like a lot of stuff in the middle that kind of slows down a lot. A lot
Mm.
of like fights with like the minor villains, like some of the other Stern Ritters nobody cares about. Bleach is bad for that. Like same with the Ironka arc. Like I don't give a fuck about the Perverone Espada. I even don't give a fuck about like half of the Espada generally. Like Noitora is cool, but like Xylan Gopolo, the pink haired guy, don't
Mhm.
care. The guy with all the eyes that
Oh
Rukia
yeah.
and Byakuya fight, don't care. Like that's like Bleach's best and worst aspect is its fucking characters, because it's got good characters, but there are a lot, and you could do with
Without some.
without some. Like it didn't have to be the Gote 13. I think 13 characters is a lot to manage. I love most of the Gote 13
Mhm.
captains and lieutenants, but like that's 26 characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most of those are going to kind of go relatively unexplored. I think like a Gote 6 would have been like much better. And Squad Zero could have like been like just, I don't know, 3 4 guys. Like I don't give a fuck about half of them. I like Ichibei. He was
Yeah.
like top 5 characters of Bleach probably, but don't give a fuck about any of the other like Squad Zero. They got folded. That is all that matters. It
Yeah.
was insane.
Not for real.
But,
But
but yeah,
real quick before we end this, have you read Dandadan yet, or have you heard of it?
I've heard, but I've not read.
Oh, okay, yeah, bro, get on that. After you read Chainsaw Man, bro, get on Dandadan. That it's so bizarre, it's like insane. But
It looks cool. I
it's
look forward to actually maybe reading 'cause it's not too far along right now.
yeah,
It's
it's
still
only
easy for me to
30
get in there.
chapters. Yeah, yeah, it's
I
not
might,
bad.
I might, that might be my next project then. I like shorter things.
Mhm.
Like Tokyo Ghoul, I think I would like, but I just don't have like the time or the energy to commit
Don't
to like all
yeah.
those. Same with Chainsaw Man, slightly different because it's only 90 chapters, but anything's possible. So
Yeah, I mean Tokyo Ghoul too is like after reading Bleach, I got through. I didn't realize that I was reading Bleach at kind of a slower pace than I did Naruto, but at the same time, it was 600 and like I think it was like 86 chapters,
three.
some
Oh,
83.
86. No, 86. You're right.
And then
Sorry,
now,
I should have said that so confidently.
and Tokyo Ghoul was 144, so I got through that actually in like within the week. So I read that one pretty quick, and really I've taken a break because it was kind of like throwing me off. But now I'm gonna get back into it as soon as we finish recording this. I'm gonna just start reading it because I need to get back into it because I have so much things I want to read. But
Did you find Tokyo Ghoul particularly text heavy, or I get the
no,
impression that it's kind of light?
no. Ghoul was light. There were some chapters that took me a while to read because when it got into like the investigator side in the regular Ghoul story, I feel like Reed's a little bit more wordy. At least where I'm at right now, it probably will lighten up. It's just since it was a time skip, I guess they're trying to like explain things a little bit, and also the new cases. Like I said, you're more on the investigator side now, so it's like even more wordy because you're talking about cases and talking about all the politics that are going on with everything in the world. So, yeah, I like it though. I like the Tokyo Ghoul world. I think it's pretty dope, and the artwork is just beautiful. At least in Ghoul, like right now, Ria, I haven't really seen anything spectacular. But then again, it's only been 12 chapters, you know, so I can't say nothing final. But I'll tell you, man, Tokyo Ghoul's artwork, fire, bro. Some of those panels are crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's pretty much gonna be it. Thank you so much, my guy Doofy, for joining me today. Link to his channel is gonna be in the description, as well as any social media that he plugs to me. After we finish recording this, and definitely check out his channel, guys. Close to 1,000, man, almost there. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a great day, man. I really am excited for you to hit that.
Thank you. I am too. Like, yeah, of course. I guess I didn't even have to say that.
No, but thanks again, bro, for joining me. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to see him on here again, maybe we'll do like a Bleach tier list sometime, because he's the king of Bleach tier list. So maybe we'll do a podcast doing a tier list for you guys. But that'll be something to stay tuned for. So
There's an idea.
yeah. But thank you so much, bro. And also, really quick before I end this, shout out to my boy Dicehead. He's the one that really provided me with this artwork that you guys are seeing now for the channel, and for what you guys are looking at now with the face cam borders and this background. So appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. And thanks again to Doofy, because this has been a long time coming, for real. We've been wanting to collab for a while now. So thanks a lot, bro. And yeah. That's pretty much going to be it. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Post every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for more episodes, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.